Okay, Kasia, here we go. We are recording.
Good.
So, welcome everyone to another episode of Moving Forward with the ICCI, where coaching meets real life, the podcast of the International Coaching and Counseling Institute. Today, I have with me somebody who studied coaching with me. Hi, Kasia.
Hi, Noah. So great to see you after so many years.
So many years. And the lovely thing about what, if I reflect on what is happening, is that we studied all together all these years ago, but each one of us took coaching to a different direction. I'll ask you in a minute what you are doing to inspire others. But I really invited you here today because you have one hell of a life story, especially what happened to you in recent years. And I see you as such an inspiration that this is what we're going to talk about. But before we even start, and before I even ask you or properly introduce you, we have two games on the podcast. One is that I always ask people who are coming to visit us, what did they think about coaching before, well, in your case, before you learned it? When did you first hear about it? What did you think about it? And towards the end, we have a game of 2+1. I get to ask you two kind of surprising questions that might come from the episode, might not. And you get to ask me one surprising question back. So let's start with that one before we actually tell the audience who you are and your story. So, what did you think about coaching before you even started to study it?
Well, okay, so we need to go back at least 20 years back when I was very much interested in self-development and my own, progress. So then I've heard about coaching, like, what is coaching? It intrigued me. I had no idea what coaching was. The more I started to read about it and hear about it, the more interested I was becoming in the method. So it was over 20 years ago that I initially went for like a career coaching first to one of the
Mm.
Polish coaches that coached in Amsterdam. I used to live there. And the whole methodology inspired me so much. Well, first of all, she really helped me to develop myself. I was much clearer what I wanted to do than before joining her. And then the methodology inspired me so much that I joined ICCI, and then the rest is history. That's how we met. I think it was around 15 years ago, or if not more, my
Yes.
goodness.
So don't tell, so people don't know how old we are. But I'm looking at you, and you are shining. You always had this glow on you, but so lovely seeing that again after so many years. You
Oh,
really have
thank
not
you.
changed a bit. I know we've not seen each other for many, many years. You've not changed a bit. Absolutely
Thanks.
gorgeous.
I
Yeah,
appreciate.
people who are listening to us now, you'll have to go to the YouTube or to see Kasia's photos to see what I'm talking about. So you are Polish, right? Originally from Poland.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I'm Polish. I'm like a world globetrotter, I would say.
Come
I
on.
always was moving from one country to another, trying to find my home. So initially, I stayed in Poland, from the time I was born till the time I moved out for 22 years. When I was 22, I moved to Netherlands, beautiful Amsterdam, where I stayed for 13 years. But then eventually I got fed up with Dutch weather. Uh, I thought I have more resilience, but not for the weather. So then I thought, you know what? I want to live in the sunny place. And I started to do my research. And that's how I found a little tiny spot on the map of Europe called Malta. And I moved here 9 years ago. So yeah, I've been living in the beautiful sunny destination, literally like 100 meters away from the seaside. Uh,
Wow.
and yeah, very happy here.
So the weather made you decide that this is the spot on earth where I want to live.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm
And that
still very
was,
much Polish in my heart, of course.
of
There is
course,
still a big part of me, especially if it comes to Polish food and other cultural aspects, but food the most. I'm 100% Polish, yeah.
and I must say, education as well. Whenever I meet Polish people, and you know that I'm from Polish descendants as well, education is so important. They say,
Yeah.
take it so seriously, kind of ongoing learners all the time, and so are you.
Yes.
Because whenever I know something about you, you either study or do you want to tell people what you're doing now with all the knowledge that you've gained over the years?
I am totally lifelong learner. I never ceased learning. It's life is a continuous learning. Without that, we cannot evolve. So yes, but yeah, I think it's typical to Polish people. We like to learn. We like to study. Poland has one of the oldest universities in Europe. I think
Correct.
this one was in Italy, but then the second one was in Poland. So that was the second university in Europe, Polish one. So that tells you a lot,
Yeah.
going back into the history. But yes, totally. So, lifelong learner.
And
So yeah,
and you're
definitely.
involved in developing other people and other
Yes,
learning.
yes. When we basically finished our coaching school, so many, not black hair ago. I had my coaching practice for a while in Amsterdam. So of course I was focusing on developing others. Then I moved to Malta and I continued, but this was through a slightly different format. I worked as a curriculum development manager for
Mm,
the higher institution, higher educational institution.
mm.
So here I was helping to develop master's degree curriculum. And then occasionally I was lecturing as well. And now for the past 3 years, I've been working as a corporate learning and development specialist. So my role is to develop or at least contribute to the development of the learning and development strategy for the company. And I work for the bank. And then, of course, it is to deliver, to design and deliver training programs depending on the training gaps. So yes,
Amazing. And
learning at my
that's
heart,
where,
yes.
yeah, that's where we also have such a lot in common because we both like to be like presenters, talk to audience, etc. And it's just amazing to talk to a fellow person who that's what they love to do in life, you know.
We were born teachers, and
Yes,
that's how we will probably go. Yes. Yeah.
completely. So
Yeah.
you're now in Malta, and like you said, you arrived there 9 years ago, but something happened 6 years ago, and this is why we are talking now to tell your story. Um, and I'm actually going to let you tell it because you tell it so beautifully and so authentically. So if it's okay with you, that we will move to that to what happened 6 years ago.
Okay, well, the first thing that happened 6 years ago was a very good thing. I met a beautiful person, my beautiful partner, Boris, Maltese partner, and we started to be together. We've been together for 6 years, 6 months until a tragedy happened.
Mm,
So the tragedy was basically a motorbike accident. We were both on the bike on the 24th of June 2018, going to the shopping center to buy some accessories for the wedding that we were preparing to attend a week after. So we were buying some accessories and stuff, and on the way back home, we entered one of the tunnels and then skidded on something wet. There was something wet on the ground. God knows what that was, oil, water, something.
mm,
And the motorbike lost the control. We lost the control. I fell. I remember hitting the wall on the right side. Then I remember ending up actually on the left side of the tunnel. So
mm,
there was probably a lot, a lot of somersaults going on. And then, the next thing I remember, so it was quite incredible that I still had a recollection of this moment in the tunnel. I was in the helmet, suffocating. I couldn't breathe. It was so hot. We are talking June in Malta, so
Yeah.
35 degrees minimum Celsius, hot like crazy. Plus, we are in the tunnel where the air circulation is not going well, and I'm having helmet on my head. The only thing I can think about is where is Boris? So I keep on looking. Where is Boris? Where is my man?
Yeah.
And I couldn't find him. I was seeing a leg, actually a foot. When I turned on the right side, I saw the foot. Uh, and I was reaching out this foot because I was sure that it is Boris.
Mm.
And as I was reaching out for this foot, my one of the people that were all around me were taking my hand. It's like the ambulance is coming, and they were trying to talk me to take me somewhere else, where is Boris? We will bring another ambulance for Boris and another one for you. Both are coming now. They are coming now.
Mm.
Next thing, we are in the hospital. It's crazy that I still had recollection of that, but I was already probably hallucinating or mumbling because when the apparently police came to ask for Boris's details,
Mm.
uh, I was telling them details. It wasn't clear what details I gave for them, so I learned that later. So I was, what happened? So what is the aftermath of this, Noah? Is that I woke up around a week later.
A
Yeah,
week later.
around a week later. Yes. So when I woke up, I was made aware that I was in induced coma due to multiple traumas, polytrauma. So I had a lot of bones broken.
Wow.
But the biggest tragedy yet was to learn that Boris died. He wasn't there with me anymore. And
Mm.
here I am a week later. And the moment I've learned about Boris, his brother came to hospital to tell me about it. The moment they woke me up, he's like, Kasia, Boris is not here with us anymore. And I was like, somewhere deep in my heart, I knew he was gone. I felt
Really.
it. I felt it. But the other part of me was bargaining, like, no, 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 it's not possible. It's not possible. Why he's gone and I'm still here? So one of the first, thoughts after waking up after a week later and learning about losing the man I, so much fell in love with was uh, the question, why the heck am I still here?
Mm.
I literally know I wanted to die. I wanted to be gone. And not to mention that I was totally bedridden.
Mm.
I couldn't move. Both of my legs were broken. Um, my ribs, my pelvis, my right hip, left hip, my right knee, the knee, as I remember hitting the wall on the right side, my knee was left on that wall. The
Oh
knee
my
was
God.
non-existent. They had to scrape everything and rebuild it, basically. Not
Wow.
mentioning the other fractures in the right leg, which were so severe that initially doctors wanted to remove my leg. They wanted to amputate.
Wow.
It was in a horrible state. As I woke up and I looked at my leg, it was having external, how do you call it? External fixators, a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
metal work in the leg, and the leg was elevated. My leg looked like three legs together. So it was very swollen. It was huge. Plus, this metal was sticking out. It was very scary view. And of course, one of the key questions I was also asking myself at the time was, would I ever be able to walk?
Mm.
It looks like I'm completely screwed here. And screwed I was. I don't know how many screws in my legs and hips. Putting now things in the time perspective,
Yeah.
I'm totally screwed. Too many
Gosh.
metal works in my legs, screws and plates and you name it. But yeah, at that time it was super, super scary. And I think, okay, you can say your body was broken, completely broken, but it was,
Complete. From what you're telling, it's
yes.
completely, literally crushed.
I spent
right?
3 months
Legs,
in the
hips,
hospital. Three
knees.
months in the hospital. So that says a
Whoa.
lot, right? 3 months they were attending to me and trying to put me together. three
Mm,
months completely bedridden. Then they took me home. I had the nurse, I had my mother, I had physiotherapists, and I still continued to be bedridden for the first half a year after accident,
wow.
basically. So yeah, the healing process was extremely long, but the broken body for me at that point was nothing in comparison to the broken heart and
Mm,
even a broken spirit, Noah.
yeah,
You know how
can
I was
imagine.
before. I was always quite positive person and like, believing
Super positive person.
I am. At that time I wasn't. At the time of after accident, after losing my partner, I was very guilty to be alive. Totally guilty. I was like, why am I not with him? Why didn't I
Yeah,
die with him? Like, what's the point of me staying here? There was the proper survivor guilt.
yeah.
Still sometimes, we are talking 6 years later,
Mm.
it still sometimes lures back in my mind and it's still there, like knock knock. But I try not to not to think about it. But yeah, no, recovery was super, super long. The biggest recovery was, of course, the physical one, but also in parallel, the mental one, the emotional recovery. So I had to recover on multiple levels because my existence basically in my mind stopped the moment I lost Boris. And I was bedridden and I always was very active person. All of a sudden, what the heck am I doing here? I cannot even move.
So,
I
so
cannot even go to the toilet by myself. Well,
mm,
what's the point of life? So I had proper existential crisis as well.
of who I am and what am I still doing here as Kasia, but also without boys.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I can only imagine a lively person like you, full of energy, going from place to place, obviously, with a partner, doing things, and then all of a sudden, all of that is gone. So not only Boris is gone, which is, like you're saying, one of the biggest things, like that was a huge loss, obviously, but also you are in a state that you need to take care of yourself, first of all, physically, but at the same time, mentally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it didn't happen overnight. It was a long process. Um,
Did
one of
you
the,
did you
yeah,
what were the thoughts back then at that moment? What is it? Okay, you're saying I'm asking myself, what's the point of being here? But what else? What else went in your mind?
yeah, why did it happen to me? Why did it happen to Boris? That was another very, very frequent question. Why me? Why did it happen? Then why am I still here very often? Yeah. Then why am I not dead? Wouldn't it be easier if I'm dead and I'm with men I love together somewhere out there, whatever, wherever? I didn't really want to live my life completely. Like the meaning of life disappeared the moment this accident happened.
Yeah.
I started to obviously then work on myself, but I had to have like a couple of inspirational, I would say, moments that prompted me to shift my perception from wanting to die to actually wanting to start living again. And I did make a couple of notes actually before our podcast to share with you. So I would say that one of the bigger factors that helped me in the beginning of my recovery was hope. I was
Mm.
hopeless. There was zero hope in me.
Yeah.
Zero. I didn't want to live. I didn't see the meaning of life. I couldn't walk. I didn't know if I would ever walk because my doctors didn't want to tell me. So they were not telling me. They were like, we
Hmm.
don't know.
In other words, when somebody you were in a vague situation, if at least somebody said to you, "Yes, one day you're gonna walk," that
Yeah.
would have brought hope, but they didn't tell you anything because they
They
couldn't
didn't. They
probably,
couldn't.
right?
They had no guarantees. They
Yes.
didn't know how I'm going to heal and whether it is going to heal, because they knew that I had other issues going on, mental, emotional, like I lost a man, I lost my partner.
Mm.
So it obviously would slow down the physical recovery. Yeah. Like multiple traumas there. So one of the things that was a shifting point was the realization that actually there is still some hope in me, even though I was thinking that there is no hope. There
Mm.
was hope. I just needed to open my eyes and heart to this. So what this
Do
was
you
is that
remember a specific
uh,
moment in which you can recall that all of a sudden you said, no, there is hope here?
two moments. Yes, there are two moments. So the first moment, and I made the note, so I want to read it to you.
Please do. Yes.
So that's my life lesson as well. Yes. So
Mm.
from that traumatic experience. So it is hope can come in least expected moment. Usually it is sparked by someone's act of kindness and selflessness.
Hmm.
So what now, to bring you example, the example here is Boris's mother.
Really?
She lost her son,
Of course.
yet at the same time, she was there religiously in front of my bed every single day from the moment of the
Wow.
accident. Even on the Boris's funeral, which I obviously couldn't attend.
Yeah.
She was there every day by my bed. And for
Wow.
me, this, of course, not immediately, but sometime back later, as I reflected back, I thought, wow, the hope exists. If I call her my mom now, we
Yeah.
are very close until
Yeah.
this point, yeah. So we are talking 6 years after accident. We are still very, very close. I call her my mom. She's proud I'm calling her mom. She was so selflessness. She was grieving like
Yeah.
crazy, but at
Mm.
the same time, she really was there by my bed wanting me to recover,
Yeah.
and that's how that inspired some hope in me. Like, if she can go through such a horrible experience, can I possibly recover from this too?
Mm.
In the name of Boris, in the honor of Boris. That's how my hope started to spark. It's
It,
like, you know
it,
what? I won't live for myself, at least for now. I
yeah.
will live for Boris because I know he would love me to live life to the full potential as he always wanted me to live. So I will do it
Sure.
for him. And that helped. That
And
helped.
and if I'm thinking about it, she reflected. She was that reflection of Kasha. There is hope here. I believe in you. I believe that you're going to recover. I believe that life will be good again one
Yes,
day. We don't know when, but
yes.
this is why I'm here day in and day out. Even on the day of my son's funeral, I still came to the hospital because I believe in you, Kasha.
This absolutely. It was her huge contribution, as well as
Wow.
as other people too. But obviously for me, Josette's contribution, Josette is her name,
Yeah.
was, yeah, that sparked that initial hope, and later the support from others as well. They did believe in me much more than I believed in myself that I could
Mm.
potentially recover from this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And another moment that sparked hope, it was around 2 months after the accident. So you still see me in the hospital, still with my right leg extended, in the bed,
Mm.
up in the air. Obviously, going to the bathroom or going to take a shower, forget about it. It's mission impossible. So I'm
Mm.
connected to catheter, I'm being washed daily by nurses. And one morning, they usually come very early, like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
One of the nurses, her nickname was Spark. She had the sparks in her eyes and very charismatic character, and she's coming
Nice.
with the bowl of water, like Kasia. today you are mine. So she had this, funny sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but then I had my, flat face, and she's like, but what's going on? I said to her, look, I would kill for being able to take a shower. I would just kill for that. And the moment I was saying it, I was like, hello, Kasia is waking up. She
Mm,
wants something. Before she didn't want anything. And here she wants a shower.
mm,
That's when the hope again came. Plus, Spark, the nurse, made it possible, because whatever, 40 minutes later, she's coming back with another 4 or 5 helpers, and they are trying to get me out of the bed on the special chair, roll me out, open the door, hold my leg. It was like a mission to take me to the shower, but it happened. It happened with the help of, there were 4 or 5 people, if I remember well.
oh
And
my God.
then finally, so one leg, the right leg that was, looking like 3 legs, it was huge, was basically like outside of the shower,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest was me under the shower, sitting on the special chair. And I remember the first moments I started to feel the water running on me. I started
Wow.
to cry like 5 years old,
Wow.
literally
Of
like five
course. I'm
years
crying
old.
here from listening to it, so let
For
alone
me,
under the water.
for me, Noah, this was like, if I can compare this experience of joy, because it was pure joy, but
Mm,
also hope coming back, that hey, life can be good. I just felt like a 5 years old in the Disneyland
yeah.
for that
Wow.
very simple shower that many people take so much for granted.
I, I was just about to say a shower. Most of us take at least once a day,
Right? Yeah.
and we really don't think of that is anything. We go in, we go out because we kind of feel like it or have to. But when you are prevented from it for whatever reason, and then all of a sudden you have the privilege of a shower,
Yes.
it's a huge thing. But what I'm also hearing here is when you're saying I wanted something and I asked for something and I said, like, because you are a person who always scream her dreams and gets them like done,
Happen.
so,
Yeah.
so for me, it's like you're saying, yeah, Kasha is back. She wants something. And
Yes.
it is the smallest of things, but for you at the time, it was
It was
huge.
huge.
It was so huge that Spark, the nurse, had to bring an army of people to come and do it. But it was so important for you that you clearly saw it. She clearly saw that you
Yeah.
want this. And she almost like granted your wish in whatever way she could in
Yes.
order for you to feel, I am back. I'm back. I want this. It's a sign of life. It's a sign of wanting to move
Willingness.
forward. And I will do anything so Kasha can have it.
Yes, that's very true. My heart started to open up to life again. Nicely spotted, Noah. This is it. Yes, I just started to have some wishes, and then those wishes got true thanks to very kind and helpful people. She could have ignored my wish and say, "Hey, Kasia, let me just wash you from the basin," like always, like for the last whatever 2 months. But
Mm,
no, she saw something on my face, and she was wise emotionally to
yeah,
recognize that this is a breakthrough moment. So I'm super
exactly.
grateful to her, and I'm super grateful for realization that to be happy in life, you don't need big things. You need small things and open heart to appreciate them. So we take small things for granted. I used to take a lot of things for granted in my life before accident, a lot. Not anymore.
Mm.
Not anymore. Because that wish 6 years ago to take that shower was my most desired gift, which then came true, which then sparked a bigger hope in me, that I can actually make it. Yes, with help of others, which was another learning, because I was always self-taught and
Yeah,
self-driven, and
very
it was just me, me,
independent.
me. And here all of a sudden I have people that I need to rely on to do things.
Mm.
But I learned to accept it, and it's actually quite beautiful.
So
And
let's talk about this because one of the hardest things for everyone, let alone people who really need help, is to ask for help.
yes, it was for me a long process. Yes, it was not easy.
Mm.
Even during that shower story, I didn't really ask her. I just said I would kill for a shower, and she anticipated my need.
Mm.
Uh, but sometimes I needed to ask more explicitly.
Yeah.
Yes, like the moments I started to be on the wheelchair and wanted to go somewhere, see something, I had to ask my mom or her husband or my friend, like, guys, can you come pick me up
Mm.
and we go to the park, or we go to see the sea. I haven't seen the sea for a long time. Would you
Mm.
be able to help me? And then I've noticed that for people it was like nothing. Of course, sure, it was big in my head that maybe I'm such an obstacle for people, but no, it was like they felt better too, by
Yeah.
helping me. So it wasn't as bad as I thought. Oh, if I ask them for help, they will see that I'm a burden for them. No, they were happy.
To show
Yeah.
us that a lot of times we think it's going to be such a big deal, such a big thing to ask for something, but uh, people like to help. People like to be there for you, and if you tell them what you need, it's easier for them
Yes, yes, yes.
because you want to be in a position of giving, you want to be in a position of helping.
Yeah.
Um, many of us want to do that, but we are afraid to ask. What do you need? What do you want? Because of for different reasons. But when we do know what somebody needs, sometimes date, time, a very specific request, then we jump and we say, "Yeah, I I can
Yes,
help here," and then it's a win-win situation
yes,
because you get what you want, and
absolutely.
they are helping, knowing that they've done something really meaningful for
Right, exactly. So it's both way street, exactly. If I can give an advice to people on how to ask for help, it's just do it. Don't overthink it. Do it. And then you will see how actually easy it is, and how beautiful two-way street it is, because you ask for help, you are getting something from it. And then the person giving you the help has something from it. They were all saying that for them it's a joy
yeah,
to see even a tiny bit of a smile on my face when I look at that sea, or when they push my wheelchair through the woods and I'm in the nature again.
yeah.
So it was working both ways. But yes, so don't overthink it. Go and ask for help. And since then, I'm much wiser, of course. Even in working situations, I'm not bottling up anything anymore. I'm just asking for what I need, and that's it. What's the worst thing that can happen? They say
They
no.
just say
I
no.
ask another person. If they close the doors, I will find the window. So don't worry. To get what I need. So yes, I think
Yeah,
the key here would be to first recognize the need.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then to ask for it,
And then you
and
ask. And
be
then
as
you ask.
specific as possible.
Yes.
So also people can say yes I can or no I can't, rather than could you help. I actually have a very good example for this morning. Facebook, of course. So I looked on Facebook and I saw somebody that I know that she's organizing camps for children who have cancer, and summer camps in the Netherlands. And she said those children are coming, and we need help. And then she listed everything that they need in days and times. And she opened a Google Doc, or I think that's what it is, yeah. And for people to volunteer for these specific activities. Now, to begin with, I thought, oh, I can't. We're going on holiday exactly on the days that she's mentioning. But then I saw that the last day that they need help, to actually unpack everything. Yeah, so to take everything away, to put away the camp, the tents, etc., to pack them away. On that day, I'm back, and I volunteered for that. So I'm thinking, to begin with, if she just said, you know, we have a camp, can anybody help? I don't, and with the dates, I would have said no. But then I realized actually there is a need on the day after they leave as well.
Ah,
So yeah, as much as I would like to be with the children and their supporters, to this year I will help with with packing everything away. It's as important for her as anything else, but
yes.
it's because she was specific.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Yes, it's true. It's true. Uh, yeah, I think the biggest work that needs to be done, or that I did through my recovery, was to realize from the scratch what my new needs were,
Mm,
because I was a new person with new bones,
yeah,
with new new view on the world and life. And I needed to completely like reshift my needs and wants.
yeah.
And that's where the work starts, even in coaching, what your needs are.
Mm,
I don't know. Okay, so let's search, you know,
absolutely.
let's
Yeah.
search.
A lot of us,
Let's
we don't.
experiment. I think experimentation was also a very big changing point in my recovery. And just to put things in perspective, how long recovery took me, it took me 2.5 years
Wow.
to be fully independent again. Two and a
So
half years.
first week you were in induced coma. Then what was the next stage? You were in the ward for.
Then they took me to orthopedic ward where I stayed for basically 3 months.
Yeah.
After these 3 months, they released me home, saying that I can be probably recovering better and faster from home in my own environment, with my dog,
Yeah.
with my parents by my side, and my friends. Yeah. So that's what happened. And then at home, I still wasn't able to walk. So I had a wheelchair, I had a walker, I had crutches, but it was gradual. So first from
Mm,
bedridden to a little bit of a wheelchair, to then finally two crutches, and then one crutch. One crutch stayed with me, and it will stay for life with me. And I love my crutch. I don't see it as a crutch. I see it as my extension. That's
yeah.
my
Part of
third
me.
leg. That's my
Yes.
third leg.
A
Yeah.
little bit like I call my glasses my eyes. Because
Uh-huh.
literally,
Yes.
I'm so
Yes.
thankful every morning when I put them back
Right.
on.
Yes,
Yes.
and I'm grateful too for the scratch, even though in the beginning I remember that I wasn't. I was very remorseful that how I'm person with disability now.
Mm,
But I finally accepted it. I learned to accept it.
mm.
And big
So,
part of this acceptance was the realization of needs. So, okay, I have disability, but can I live my life? Can I
mm,
actually live my life somehow? How do I want to live my life now, given my disability? I have 42% permanent disability, so that's quite a
wow.
huge one. But I do walk, so I must say this is my biggest gift that could have happened to me after such a horrible accident. I can walk, and you won't believe what I discovered a couple of months after accident. I had
Mm,
this taxi driver that contacted me on Facebook saying, "I saw your accident."
mm.
God, am I brave enough to get back with the memories to this day? Shall I invite him? I invited him to my home.
Wow.
I was bedridden at the time. So I was like, I invited him. I said, yes, I want to hear how you saw this accident because I don't remember. I just remember we skidded and I bumped the wall, then I was on the ground, and
And
that's all
and
I
he
remember.
saw everything.
And he was just right behind us, so he was seeing everything.
Wow.
He obviously stopped. Everybody needed to stop, yeah, and he was there beside me, and he said to me, because I was telling him that, so was it Boris next to me? I was looking for him. Where was Boris? I, and I was seeing his foot, and he's like, Kasia, you weren't seeing his foot. even seeing your own foot. What?
So
My leg
your foot
flipped. My leg
was
flipped. It lost joint. My knee was totally shattered. My
and
leg
that's
flipped
why next to your foot was next to your head,
next
and
to
you
my head.
thought it's
Yeah.
Boris.
My foot was, yes. It
And
was
could
my
it,
own foot, so you can imagine that leg, what happened to it. The
yeah.
knee didn't exist, the joint was totally shattered. The leg flipped.
Oh my God.
So the doctors had quite a work to do. The first surgery was taking them 12, 14 hours from what they were
Wow.
telling me later to just somehow, realign this leg. It was very messy, but initially, they wanted to amputate. There is nothing to rescue here.
Mm.
But there was one doctor who touched my foot, and my foot still had a reflex, and he said there is a lot to rescue here because I
Wow.
still had somehow responses in that leg. So that's what this doctor and that response in my leg that saved my leg, So yeah, 3 months hospital, then another 3 months at home. So it was half a year. Then slowly wheelchair.
Mm.
I started to use the wheelchair quite a lot, and with the wheelchair, they were taking me 3 times per week to physiotherapy. So I was doing very intense physiotherapy, which took me around year and a half
Wow.
after the 6 months, initial months. So, 2 years after accident, I was finishing my physiotherapy. I had a aqua therapy. They were later on, once my leg was a
That's
bit more healed,
amazing.
putting me in the pool on the special chair like a crane,
Yes. Yeah, I
putting
know
me.
this one. Yeah.
And I remember again, like part of me was, I'm such a damaged person, and on the other, like, fuck, I can be in the water again. I will
Yeah.
be in the water again. It's possible. So yeah, I was enjoying
Wow.
every of these little moments. There was always a bit of a duality there, but
I imagine.
but
I
the
can
joy
imagine.
from doing things I thought I would never be able to do was much bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. And how we take all that for granted, going to the pool, taking a shower, making my own meal, walking to the toilet or opening the door to somebody. Just,
Seeing the waves coming in, hearing the birds singing,
yeah.
watching them on the sky flying, watching the flowers on my balcony. As I was sitting on this wheelchair, and I was spending a lot of time on my balcony,
Mm.
and, and the time was going so slow that I could literally see flowers blooming. I had a lot of time on my hands.
Mindfulness, you know?
I had a lot of, and that was another, I would say, positive. The accident, obviously, that was a huge trauma, and still, it left a lot of negativity there. Like there is still PTSD going on and stuff like that. But at the same time, it opened the doors to reprogram myself a little bit, and from
Mm.
a person who was always focused on doing. And I'm
Mm.
sure you can confirm that.
Yeah.
I became a person who can actually be without doing. So here I am watching the flower opening up, and then I
Wow.
found a lot of joy in these moments. This was my new life. It's like, wow.
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 You know, I remember that when we spoke a couple of weeks ago, deciding to record this episode, you talked about the gifts of coaching. You said the gifts of coaching, gifts of coaching. And I put a mental note for myself to ask you,
Yeah.
what are these gifts of coaching? Why are you calling them like that? And if I'm guessing is about the connection between what you knew from your studies, from your experience, etc., and how you took it to your recovery. Is that
Yes.
what you meant?
I think so. Yes. I can make it quite simple. So the coaching, the way I always was seeing coaching is to take the person from point A to the point B or where that person wants to be. And the coach in the middle is just a facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
So during that recovery process, I became my own coach. So I was seeing both. I was seeing where I am in all of this, with all of the shattered body and mind and existence and everything, to then this first moments of hope and willingness to live and open up to where I want to be. So I had to reestablish once again where I want to be. And
Mm,
that coaching gifts that I gained through learning about coaching or being coached in the past helped me a lot with self-help here.
yeah.
Uh, so I realized I can coach myself from point A to B. It's just a matter of asking myself right questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
say if I cannot ski, and I used to be a very hardcore skier. I loved skiing. I was going to ski every year. I was spending 7, 10 days skiing every day with my friends, to now all of a sudden, oh, this won't happen anymore because I have broken legs, and
Yes.
I still have broken legs, I mean, they are broken, right? They healed, but I cannot ski on them. They are not skiing legs anymore. So here I had two choices. I could give up on my life thinking, you know what, this I won't be able to do all of the things I used to do and just give up and bye bye. Or I could coach myself into asking myself, is there anything that could potentially bring you a little bit of joy? Even a tiny step, a tiny thing. Is there?
And what was the answer?
Yes. And it was to watch the flower bloom. Or yes, it was to watch the birds flying. Or yes, it was when my cognition was coming back and my brain started to function a bit more normally after all of this, medications and morphines
Mm,
and stuff. Then I started to read again. Reading was giving me a lot of pleasure. So I
mm,
had to kind of find new hobbies. Swimming, in the water. A person who is having disability will understand me.
mm.
When you put a person with physical disability in the water, disability disappears. And that's what became my
Wow.
new hobby too, like
Is
I
it
want to be in the water.
is it
And
because of the weight of the like that you are a bit like weightless in the water or able to do what makes it so?
the body is, of course, that's the weight part, of
Yeah.
course, but also a flexibility part. Like
Mm.
when I couldn't walk,
Yeah.
I could walk in the water. But
Yes.
normally I couldn't walk, yes. So it is about the weight. But
Wow.
it's also the way our body is in the water, yeah? So
Yes.
if I cannot walk, then I can float. Does it still
Yeah.
give me joy? Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Whereas I cannot put myself into floating in the normal
Yeah.
circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes,
And in a way, that's what
yeah,
we all want to do in water to float. And here you can do it, like
yes.
anyone
So,
else. And
yeah,
we are mentioning water here a few times, and we do know that water has healing abilities.
yes, yes, yes. Drinking it and drinking it a lot, being in it, cold, warm, ideally change the temperatures as well. Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
for blood circulation. That's something my leg loves very much.
Mm.
I give it cold and hot showers
Oh,
because it helps circulation. Uh,
wow.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Of
yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Yes. So
So we
yeah,
talked
coaching
about.
is huge, huge part of my life, and it did help me in the recovery where I had to basically coach myself from being miserable to
Mm.
actually being a woman I am now, where I feel I can, live my life pretty much without limitations. So this 42% disability on the paper, well, it's there.
Yeah.
Yes, I still have my crutch. Yes, I cannot walk 10 kilometers per day. I can walk three, and I'm
Three?
taking
Oh my
it.
goodness. A lot of people cannot even
And
do
I'm
that, Kasia.
exactly. But from me where I was, like love to hike and could do 20 per day, here I'm doing three. But I'm happy with my three. I'm happy that I can walk,
Yes.
so yeah, coaching is huge, huge. It's
Wow.
it's 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 a
We
it's a great process. Yeah.
we spoke about so many things, and even when you mentioned hope, that finding hope again, asking for help. acceptance of the situation, and from there moving on. These are all things that we also look for in coaching. We are looking to help our clients. Yeah, first of all, hope. Without that little bit of hope that and believe that something can happen and can change,
Yes,
we, you know, there's we cannot do much. So we need to at least that little spark, and to
absolutely.
and like that nurse found it in you, and she knew. I'm sure she knew that at that moment, if she's not taking this and making it into something huge, you might shut down again. And she saw that there is this moment in which she can, like a box of matches to spark, to be something much much bigger. And yeah, asking for help. We don't need to go through, half hell like you did in order to learn to ask for help.
I
Um,
agree. I agree.
and help
Yes.
others to help us. I think that's another thing we spoke about today.
I think so, and yes, I can agree. A big part of my recovery was definitely people and their support.
Yeah.
It was paramount to my recovery.
Mm.
Without their love, without their meals, without their presence, without them, like, hey, Kasia, you can do it, even though I was not believing it into initially.
Yeah.
Without them, without my mom who stayed with me for 2.5 years, sacrificing her life and her
Wow.
husband's life, they stayed with me for 2.5 years, taking care of me every day.
And coming to be with you rather than, let's say, taking you to where they live, right?
Yes, yes,
Big thing as well.
coming to me.
Yeah.
Um, yes, people and people's support and gratitude. I think that was another big part of my recovery, that I started to be grateful, obviously, for all of those beautiful gifts and beautiful people I have in my life, and for gratitude for simple things.
Mm.
Like, we don't really need to have a huge materialistic things or the most handsome partner in life to be happy. We really don't. That's what
Mm.
this huge traumatic experience taught me. We don't. Simple things matter, and being grateful for it then feeds your heart with even more willingness to live your life well and more positivity.
Yeah. Wow, Kasha. Listen, I can tell you from my point of view that I followed you all these years on Facebook. Thank you, Facebook, for existing. And indeed, I'm seeing a person who's just moving to Malta. She's doing her coaching. She's moving to Malta. She's working here. So, photos, everything. I remember the photos with Boris. I really remember them really well. And then one day,
Mhm.
you telling us that of what happened, and the shock, the absolute shock of not just what happened, but the sheer trauma to lose Boris, and to be completely handicapped and broken, physically broken as well as mentally broken. But
Well,
even how you talked about it, how you shared it, I remember that's a woman with a spark. That's a woman with strength. I mean, it was amazing and inspiring. And I think from that moment, I personally started to follow you even more, like to make sure that I'm reading everything that you're writing, that I'm writing back to you, because it was just almost like catching, your energy. You were in the worst place. I remember it. But you were authentic. You said what's on your mind. Um you shared what is hard and what is good, you know, from like, because things were terrible. Let's put it that way. Things were terrible, but you shared them as they are, and you shared the optimism, and that's catchy. And I think that's your gift in life, Kasha, that you can really, at the worst circumstances, and I wish that you will never have to check that again, but you have that strength in you to take what it is, to say that's mine, that's my package, but I'm moving on. I am
yeah,
moving on. And in that moving on, you are inspiring others. because ever since when you are posting and memories of the accidents and Boris, it's so inspiring. But what is more inspiring, and I'm going to move now to the two surprising questions,
Okay.
if that's okay with you, um, is that a new life is being built for you. It's
Yes,
okay if I
yes.
ask you about that.
So the moment I would say this, again, that's another life learning, right? A lesson learned. The moment you open your heart to something new, that something new, in whatever form or shape you want it, will appear. Just start dreaming, start opening your heart to it, and don't ask me how. It just happened. So yes, I mean, it was 3 years after accident when I started to think like, wouldn't it be nice to meet someone, again? I feel even if it's just, a friend, whatever,
Mm,
to start with,
yeah.
and so I opened my heart to meeting someone romantically. Yeah, I
Yes.
put my new Kasia on the dating site, and not long after actually posting it, I met a man. New man, new life, Robert, and from that moment that we met, we started to chat, and then we actually met live. He came to pick me up, and we went for like a beach picnic. Um, it passed already 3.5 years, yes, and we've
Yes.
been happily together after. After that, so yes, I have a new partner. It's been over 3 years together. In last April,
Yeah. He proposed?
yes, he proposed.
Wow.
And like you said something about me saying things straight as they are, and even with Robert, I was very straight. And I told him, Robert, you may see me sparkly and beautiful now as I'm rebuilding my life, but my doctors warned me that I might end up permanently on the wheelchair. So I don't know when it will happen and if it will happen. They
Mm,
say I might. Yeah. I want you to know what you are going to take.
mm,
So it's your decision. I won't get offended. It's up to you to decide, but this is something I want you to be aware. So I was honest and transparent, and he didn't even stuttered. He didn't even like, no, you are my person. And yeah, he's such a beautiful personality, such a beautiful soulmate. We get each other from the moment we started to chat online. We get each other. It's been 3 beautiful years together, and we are looking for more. And we have huge appetite for life together, and we travel a lot. So one of my
yeah.
biggest dreams now is to visit at least 100 countries before I die.
Wow.
I've been to 42 and still counting, so I think it's realistic. And now
Super
Robert
realistic.
also
But listen
is
again,
happy.
you were authentic with him. You
Yeah,
didn't,
yeah,
you have put like you're saying, the new Kasha appeared on the website. The Kasha that has this and this and this in her past
I was
could
open to
have
the
this and
core,
this in her future, although,
open to the core.
nobody knows
Yes,
what the future will hold, but you
yes,
said what could
yes,
predictably happen. And
yes,
and yet that he took you as you are
yeah.
because of that, authenticity and who you are. So, which is another coaching gift, to really tell the truth, hard as it is, but to be authentic, because it's only with the truth that we can work, that we can develop and do something.
Beautiful insight, Noah. Yes, be authentic and be honest, but also before that, accept yourself with this.
Mm,
Because then, if someone else rejects you because of that, you won't feel hurt because you
mm,
accept yourself. I wouldn't feel hurt if Robert decided, you know what, sorry, That's
Yeah.
not my way. I want to live my life, whatever, I wouldn't get offended because I accept myself. And if there is a right person in this world, that person will also accept me.
So
But then in
beautifully
the
said.
meantime, I won't be affected because I accept myself and I'm happy with
Beautifully
myself.
said. In other words, yeah, we might get upset, etc., but people will not break us if we know who we are. People
Yes,
will not.
exactly.
It's just so important. Hard to do, but worth every moment we work on it to love ourselves just as we are, and
Yes,
then
exactly.
people accept us as we are.
Yes,
If
yes.
it's funny because one of the last episodes that I recorded was with a lovely lady called Tsuf. We talked about body image, and we came to
Mhm,
the same conclusion. So
mhm,
we are
mhm.
seeing it from different places, from different
Yes,
angles. We
yeah,
have to accept ourselves. Otherwise, others will not, they won't see who we really are. And
yes,
they
exactly.
might accept us, but not the real us. No, it doesn't work. When we are
Yeah,
who we are, with all our faults, with all our problems, but
yes.
accepting that this is
Ourselves.
the package,
That's what I
then
am. Yes.
then others can. When we love ourselves the way we are, others can love us too. It will never work if we don't. And
It's
that's
beautiful message.
yes. My second question to you.
Ah.
I remember you were talking about reading. I'm not surprised because I remember when we studied how much more you read and how much more you were always like, okay, these are the books that we are supposed to read. But hello, um, I'm reading this and this, and I'm interested in that person, in that person. Is there somebody or something, a book or a person that you were following that really you can recommend now for others to follow? So they inspired you so much that you're saying this is the person that I would recommend for somebody at least to start with, not to miss their messages.
Yes, there is, but let me bring it, if you don't
I
mind.
will wait, no
Yes.
problem. Of
Let me
course.
bring it.
And we are keeping it in the recording, by the way, because it's part of
Yes.
what we are celebrating here. That you got out of your chair, Kasia, and you and you are going to your library or whatever it is, and you're going to bring it back. So it stays in the podcast. I'm not going to I'm not going to take it out. It's an opportunity for me to drink some of my tea that I brought about an hour ago. Yeah. So we are still waiting for Kasia. That means she walks a lot, of course. We are recording it via Zoom. Obviously, she's in Malta and I'm here in the Netherlands. So people who are going to watch it on the video will see that her chair is empty. She's coming back. Yay,
Oh,
she's back.
the first thing,
Is your
ne-
crouch?
never think of your crutch as a crutch. It's
Yes.
your friend. So whatever help you need, take it and
Yes. Oh,
embrace
that's a
it,
perfect message.
right? But there is another one. I don't know if you can see this book cover.
Things you can see only when you slow down.
Yep.
Ooh.
And that's metaphorical, I would say, message also to what happened to me, because obviously accident slowed me down and I wouldn't be able to see many things if I didn't. And a lot of my life realizations, life lessons, the wisdom that somehow I acquired through this horrible experience, um, made me realize that life is even more fuller and more beautiful than it ever was before, because I could slow down. So guys, this is the book I totally recommend you to read. The Things You Can See Only When You Slow Down, by
Who wrote-
Hemin Sunim. He's a Buddhist teacher, and the book is full of little lessons, from his own life and experiences about life, about relationships, about, let me actually tell you a few more things, about rest, how to rest,
Mm,
about love, passion, mindfulness, life, the future,
mm,
spirituality, and your original authentic self. And a lot of beautiful, simple simple wisdom in this book. So I would say this book is life transforming.
It
It's
feels like
really.
that's the book I need to take with me to my holiday.
I recommend, and you
Let's
you
see if I
you
can
may get
get
inspired.
hold of it in the next few days. But that will be wow. That sounds great because we miss such a lot when we are on a rush. And this is I'm saying it to myself because I'm like you were and rushing, doing because we can and we love it and we love the tempo. But sometimes you need to stop, slow down.
And watch the flower bloom. My accident gave me that opportunity. It slowed me down. It helped me to watch the flower bloom, literally. And this is the gift I will be always grateful for, because if it was before the accident, I would never have a bloody time to see that, because yeah, like a hamster on the wheel. No, slow down. Accident slowed me down without my permission. But then now, from perspective of time, I'm grateful it did.
Yeah.
And here yet
Wow.
is the book that will actually give you so much wisdom. I recommend. Yeah.
Wow. Um, it's your turn to ask me one surprising question.
Okay, now one surprising question. Well, maybe not that surprising, but when are you coming to Malta? And if you are coming to Malta, would you be willing to give us some nice workshop here on any topic that you feel is, trending now, and, could cover a probable gap,
Wow, that is surprising to be honest, because I didn't expect that. Although I'm very flattered. And you know what? In a way, I thought, maybe I should have my next holiday in Malta and then say, Kasia, you're ready for dinner together or something. But that, wow, that you really surprised me now, Kasia. And I would love to come to your company or to the people that you are in touch with and anything, we can talk about absolutely anything that obviously both of us feel interested. But I'm surprising you now, and let's do it together. Let's
Uh-huh.
create something together, a workshop together, and give it together. I think that will be an amazing gift for me to be in your presence and with your energies and your knowledge and your life story that just is absolutely amazing and so inspiring. We're
Thank you
going
very much.
to
Mhm.
unless you want to say something else, which of
No,
course,
that yes, absolutely. I accept the challenge. It would be nice to do
yay!
something together. And I did initially. I mean, after accident, when I couldn't walk, I was putting a lot of thoughts online. I had my blog. I started my website. I survived accident.com. I was writing a lot of things about my personal recovery, and then people started to join me. So I started to have like a support group all of the sudden, and that support group now, for time being, because of my professional life, basically took over. I haven't had much time to devote to, but I would love us to do together something for accident survivors, a workshop
Wow,
for them. I would love that. So I could continue also with that mission that was so strong in me a couple of years ago. But yeah, it would be
that
good
is
to revisit
beautiful.
this.
And listen to what you're saying. Part of my recovery was by giving to others. When
Yeah,
I could, when I was in a position of giving to others, I created a blog. I wrote so others can be inspired. And later on, I created this support group. I mean, that's absolutely like amazing. And as you know, I had my support group for pregnancy loss. It's yeah, it helps if you're a professional, but support groups you can create even without the title of a coach,
much knowledge,
and
yes.
just to get
Because
people together to talk
to talk
and
about
and
experiences, yes.
exactly and share and accept each other, because the grief and the hurt is can be so overwhelming. And like you're saying, thinking that I'm the only one who's going through that, my life is shattered, etc. And then seeing it, other people at different stages of their recovery, it was really helpful. And you really don't need to be a professional. It helps, but
Agreed.
just get a few people together, even online, and help each other. So
Agree, agree.
yeah, give me.
One thing I realized after starting this experience was that, yeah, you don't need experience, you don't need anything. You just need to share your experience. And then there is another insight I gained from this was that the storytelling is very powerful.
Hmm.
There is a lot of power to tell your story. The moment I opened up with my story, how dark and bad and horrible that was, it wasn't that bad in eyes of the people who heard it because they were seeing it as inspiration and it opened them up. Then I started to have people writing to me if they can share their stories. So I was sharing their stories on my blog and it started to grow. It was really quite powerful. So sharing my own story helped, but also seeing others sharing their stories helped me too, because then I saw, you know what, I'm not alone, and my big tragedy is perhaps minimal in comparison to someone else's tragedy. So it's always relative. It's always relative. Yeah.
And it does help to see that relation, to put ourselves in relation to others.
Yeah.
That's I think that's the beauty of human beings, that we are connected. We are like we are part of nature, and we are connected, and one can learn from each other, and one can be supported by each other, by the other. But also, like you're saying, to put ourselves in perspective to the situations of others, and to say, wait, at least I had that, or I could do that, and to start being grateful for that. Um, Very powerful. Yeah, so come on, we're going to make a date out of it. I know we are
Absolutely.
such
Let's do it.
we are such doers, the two of us. That's just gonna happen. So Kasia, I did ask you before we recorded. I asked you for your permission to dedicate this podcast episode to the memory of Boris, and you very kindly agreed.
Absolutely.
I have shivers in my spine now, just saying that. Clearly, he was such a special person. I really remember the photos of you together, full of life, full of desire and love. And let's remember him this way.
I
Let's
want to show
remember.
you actually, since we talk about Boris.
She's going again. Where is she going? Let's see. Oh, yes, that's it. That's him.
That's
Wow.
a real person. That was a real person. Yeah.
Mm. With his smile and his curious eyes. Yeah,
Huge hunger for life.
absolutely.
So yes, I heartfeltly dedicate this for Boris.
Lovely.
And I live my life in honor for Boris because at least now I know that his death is not in the vain. It served some purpose, I would say.
I agree. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You really are an inspiration. I know you didn't want to be in that way. It's not something you chose, but your being is a being of inspiration. This is why you became a coach, to inspire others to do for themselves, and to do it on their own, like you did when you were inspired from your coach. And you just do it so beautifully, despite and even because. And, l- you know, that's what happened. That's what happened. And after the initial years of being completely shattered, you learned, you taught yourself, you took yourself literally millimeter at a time to be back the person who can be strong and inspire others and live life again.
Yep.
And that, for me, to talk to you about that, that's the gift of living, Kasha. It really is.
I'm happy to share that story as well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Noah. It's a pleasure.
I'm gonna end the recording.
All right.
But we need to keep on talking.
Okay, okay.